Hey, Prestonwood.Live, it's Jack Raymond, online pastor, and really grateful to be with you today for our weekly devotional. And last week we kicked off a new series walking through the I am statements of Jesus in the Gospel of John. And there's 7 I am statements. And so last week we looked at the first one where Jesus says, I am the bread of life. And we talked about how Jesus meets all of our needs, and he meets our needs in abundance. So if you missed last week, I hope you will look at our comments in this one and click on the link to watch that. And also to hit subscribe. That helps you to make sure you never miss a weekly devotional, a monthly membership class, or other new videos that we'll share throughout our time on this channel. And it also helps us to grow and to reach new people, as we're one of our goals is to hit 100 subscribers, and so we need about 40 or so more subscribers, and that's a big milestone on YouTube. It helps us to have some new features, do some new things as well, and so I hope you'll help us and by hitting that subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. But for this week, we want to cover John chapter 8 and the second I am statement of Jesus, teaching us all about who our Jesus is and what he does in our lives. And this is where Jesus says in John 8:12, says, I am the light of the world. In fact, this is the full verse where he says, I am the light of the world. Anyone who follows me will not walk in the darkness, but will walk in life. And that's one of the big themes of John throughout all of his writings, not just the Gospel of John, but also 1st, 2nd, 3rd John, and Revelation, the 5 books of the Bible that the disciple of Jesus, John, wrote. And one of those major themes is light and darkness, and this emphasis that Jesus is the light of the world, that he shines the light into the darkness. And what I want us to take away this week is 3 essential truths for all of us in everyday life. These are core essential truths that we have to know and that we have to live out. And the first truth is this, that because Jesus is the light of the world, number one, we are never alone. We are never alone, because what is the lie of the enemy? The lie of the enemy is to keep us in darkness. And when you're in darkness, when you think about just physically, what do you feel? You feel lonely, alone, because you can't see anybody, can't feel anybody around you, and sometimes potentially you may not even be able to hear anybody. And so, especially when we think about that physically, we also have to think about that spiritually. But Jesus will shine light into the darkness to remind us that we're never alone, that as Christians, we have Christ in our life, that Jesus is always with us, and that we have other Christians as well who will walk and do community with us. That's why we're so passionate as an online community, not just for believers in Dallas-Fort Worth area, but believers all over the world, to help them find community, to remind them this fundamental truth that we are never alone, because we have to first learn it, and then we can share that with others. And to me, especially with just all that we've walked through in the last couple of years, one of the most important truths that we need to know and that we need to share is that we are never alone. Because as we're walking through this pandemic, we're finding that more and more the greater pandemic has become the pandemic of loneliness, that people are deeply struggling with loneliness and feeling alone and feeling forgotten. But God in his word, and Jesus says, I am the light of the world, which reminds us that Jesus is always with us, that we're never alone, and that Jesus has created the church and brothers and sisters in Christ to do life together. And so because Jesus is the light of the world, number one, this first truth is that we are never alone. And the second truth is that we are victorious, because in darkness is where sin thrives. Darkness is where the enemy wants to keep us. But Jesus says, I am greater than the darkness. I am greater than sin. I have defeated sin and death forever on the cross and in the resurrection. And because of that, we have the victory of Jesus. It's one of the great Christian hymns, a classic for hundreds of years, and it's victory in Jesus. I'm not going to sing it for you. Maybe you can look it up somewhere else on YouTube where it's sung a lot better, but it's a beautiful hymn and a beautiful truth that we have to remind ourselves of daily, that we're not defeated by sin, that Satan cannot defeat us. He can discourage us, but he can never defeat us. But we don't get discouraged, because we remember that we can't be defeated and that we have victory in Christ. In fact, in Romans 8, Paul reminds us that we are more than conquerors in Christ. we are victorious because Jesus is the light of the world. And so the third and final truth that we're reminded of here is that because Jesus is the light of the world, we are on mission. So we're never alone, we're victorious, and we're on mission because we don't just keep the light to ourselves, but we know that there are thousands and millions and really billions of people all over the world that are living in that darkness, that are living defeated, that are living discouraged, that are living alone and lonely. And we know that we have the answer. We have the hope, we have the light, we have the victory of Jesus. And so we want to share it with others. In Matthew 5, in Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, he says that not only is he the light of the world, but Matthew 5:12 says that we are the light of the world. In verse 14, that we are to shine our light so that others might see our good works and glorify God in heaven. And so that is our mission, to share that Jesus is the light of the world and for us to be light in this dark world. And as I think about where we are right now, wherever you're watching from, we probably all agree that the world is becoming more and more evil, darker and darker. And yet, as I think about that, I'm also reminded of the beautiful hope that yes, the world may get darker and darker, more and more sin may abound, but even more so, there is a greater opportunity for us to be on mission and to be the light of the world, to tell others that Jesus is the light of the world. And when we do that, we will shine Jesus' light all over the world. There's a beautiful passage in the Old Testament. It's Daniel chapter 12 in verse 3, and I want to end our devotional on this verse. This is what we read. It says, "Those who have shined will shine like the bright expanses of heaven. And those who lead many to righteousness, they will be like the stars forever and ever." Well, let us be like the stars forever and ever by shining the light of Jesus with everyone around us this week. So let's remember that Jesus is the light of the world. And because of that, we're never alone, we're victorious, and we're on mission to tell others and to show others the light of Jesus. Well, again, I hope you'll subscribe and tune in next week. We're going to look at Jesus' third I am statement, which is found in John 10, and where Jesus reminds us that he is the door. He says, "I am the door," specifically of the sheep. And so we're really excited about next week. So grateful that you tune in with us all throughout the week, and we hope this will encourage you, and we hope that you'll share this with others.